What's good, fam? We back in this thing. Man, I ain't even just got here. What's up, Rich? I'm talking about just walked in the building. And Rich is already on there coming. That's what I'm talking about, Rich. Yeah. I love it, fam. Man, we haven't had an interesting day. Been running around. Look at that. You see a little perspiration. Whew. I just ran to the computer because I was busy doing other stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to get back there. It's time to talk to the fam. And we here, baby. Man, this week, I might have said interesting day, but now that I'm thinking about it, this week has been relatively fun. We talked about it in the last video with everything that's going on. Man, I'm talking about that load boy was looking real scarce for your boy till Friday. Friday it got the jumping. But I couldn't get back to the loads in time to get what I needed. Man, it happens. And let me give you an example. I told y'all this before because some reason, I don't know. It just might be me. I want to know if it's y'all too. When you sitting somewhere and lows ain't popping and you see them popping in other places, you like, man, I wish I was over there. Then when you get over there, the lows don't be popping right there. And then they be popping when you're sitting there a couple days earlier. I digress. That ain't what we here to talk about tonight. So we here to talk about some other things. Because, talking to the fam and the one-on-ones, catching up on the comments. We kind of hinted at it before, but it's more so of how to help people. Because, we help over here. We be all in the comments talking. We be on the live chatting. It goes down over here. But it made me think about some stuff I've seen before. And you know me, I tell y'all all the time, fam, don't be getting scammed. But at the same time, it makes this like a thin line because this thing about a thin line between genius and insanity. I think there's a thin line between gatekeeping and not gatekeeping, if you know what I mean. Don't worry. We gonna break it down. But I gotta holler at the fam because y'all coming in. What's going on? Row out that VA. He in it. Hey, in it. Row is in this thing. What you mean? You almost got scammed. Now, hold on. We got to go to this. You're going to have to tell us how you almost got scammed. I want to know. The Quicks is in the building. What's going on, fam? Man, the transporter, what's going on in here? Man, you over there, boy. I tell y'all, if y'all ain't going over there watching them, fam is out here getting it. I love it. The transporter, he'll have you laughing all day long. Boy, but I'm glad you're making it safe, fam. I see you not got back. You was moving on your boy. And the Quicks. Oh man, I got to talk about that last video. That thing, I see you got to go back outside. Y'all know we be messing with the fam over here. Not too long ago, Miss Quick say, nah, he can't go outside right now. My ball was outside. I wish I was out there with you, fam. I said, wish I was out there with you. Look at that. I'm putting you on blast. You know you didn't want that APB out on you, just true. We was coming for you. And the same with Fendall. We was coming for you too. I was going to put an APB out on everybody. But Fen, I ain't going to lie to you. I told you, I'm still waiting on you and not you, the missus. I need some of those videos, of Netflix series. I need to know what's going on over there. Tell me, put me on. Let me know what she watching because I want to watch too. Maurice, what's going on, fam? Hey, what's going on? See, I told you. True. We going to put an APB out on you. We was coming for you. But nah, fam, when we talking about that gatekeeping, because it's funny. I might have named the Quicks. I might have named the Transport. I might have named them. But if you go watch their stuff, they out there giving out the same information. We talk on all these platforms. It's a bunch of people. I talked to y'all about my boy Jay Russ. It's a bunch of people out here. Not just the fam putting it. That's why I tell people come in this live because we be talking. But we got to talk about this gatekeeping. Now, this is what I mean about this. Because I don't think it's gatekeeping. For one, it ain't a gate. We ain't got no control over this stuff. But let's break it down real quick. I'll give you an example. So this is years ago. I be telling my age. Predating the internet. I think Facebook really finally hit the scene, 2009, 2008, something like that. I can't remember. But no wife, open daycares and stuff like that. And one of the things that she got for one of her certifications when she was going through this process was to become a director. That was one, steps up. You work a daycare, then you get to different admin roles. The director is one of the ones, director of a daycare, learning every step you can. And while she was in that class, one of the things she had to do was map out a plan of what a daycare would look like on the inside, from the kids' rooms that broken down by age, bathrooms, because you got to have a certain amount of bathrooms for kids, all that stuff. And you know me, y'all been rocking with your boy. I'm the numbers guy, the builder. Might start calling myself BG the builder. I'm like Bob the builder. I'm like, anyway. And so I was like, hey, babe, I got you. So I sat down, mapped out the stuff based on we going back and forth. She giving me the information. I'm drawing it, got my rule out and the pencil. You thought I was a real design contractor. But that was me helping my wife because, get to that next level. And I'm looking at it and I think back about that. So what if we do that plan? Because the plan went, the teacher loved it. It was amazing. But what if somebody else in the class would be like, man, that was amazing. Have your husband draw me one. Would that be considered gatekeeping if she would have been like, nah? Nobody asked her, but I'm just using it for example. If somebody would have asked her and she'd have been like, nah, he got to do other stuff. Is that considered gatekeeping? I want your opinion. Because in my opinion, I don't think it is. And here's why. I'll tell you why. So when it comes to gatekeeping, you're sharing information with people that you know or don't know, however you want to put it. But it gets to a point inside of that if I went to school or if I learned this trade or learned this particular thing, it gets to a point where you might not be helping somebody where you're actually doing the work for them. So is it gatekeeping if somebody doesn't want to do the work for you? They might share the information. That's like driving this van. If I share the information, there's people out there that might want you to drive the van for them. I'm not saying that they are, but I'm saying that's like it gets to no longer gatekeeping. I'm doing the work for you. I'm going to break that down a little bit more because we want to clear this line up between gatekeeping because I don't want people to still get confused. But the fam is hollering at me and I got to holler back at them. What's going on? Let us transport in the building. Hold on. We got to go back because we asked Rich how he almost got scammed. I almost got scammed this week on load was AC to Arizona to Alabama. Someone took over the shipper's info and we booked for 2,000. Did rate con and went to pick it up for the 2 bands. I had that happen before. The first red flag, it was a house. All right, I'm gonna hold off on that. Second red flag, no BOL. That's the money. I reach out to the number on the tone listing, no answer because they need the lumpers fee for loading, and we need that BOL. We talked about the lumpers fee when we did the container movement, the container freight when they break down the container. So I know about that. Yeah, that you can't, they'll get you. Hold on. What's going on, J Harv? Man, for one, J Harv, I appreciate you, fam. Man, y'all be showing your boy love, and I love it. You mentioned another influencer last week, and they don't deserve to be mentioned by you. I paid $2,400 for their course, and I will say an expensive lesson, but God doesn't make mistakes. I think I remember who you talk about, but like you said, we're not going down that right. I respect fam. I hate that happened to you. But let's got Rich back, and they send the email which they responded to, but not the phone. Another red flag. Let customer know I'm waiting on the BOL for signature. While waiting, something said, check the rate cutter. Now notice, hold on. Let's go. I got it, Rich. We got to finish this story. Was a different one than the one I called the one that was on the listing, and they said it was fraud and not their load. Then I asked the customer how she booked. Boy, you got us going in here today. Hold on. I'm coming back to the other comments. We got to finish this story. U-Ship. From looking at U-Ship in the past, I know it's a lot of cheap freight on there. So I asked the customer what she was paying. She said only $500. How are they going to pay me $2,000? Before I tell you, these scammers are out there, fam. Let's see. Oh, J Harv's here. Oh, again, J Harv. I bought the course before. I found you. Thank you for being you and always showing real life, man. I appreciate that, fam. That's the whole thing, man. I want y'all to understand that. Like, it's the gatekeeping part. Because remember, I told you, it's a thin line. Because there's information you can look up, do that kind of stuff. And I understand that research can get extensive. And if there's somebody, because I'm a true believer in, if there's somebody that can help you along the way, get there faster, help you elevate, because I don't believe in that just get it out the mud thing by yourself. I believe if somebody can help you, that's not trying to get over on you. Don't know these people, don't know anybody, so I'm not calling out any names apparently. So I said one last week. I don't want to go down that route. But there's a thin line. So for example, let's break this down a little bit. If I'm a lawyer, I've seen this happen. Don't worry, fam. We're going to touch on this next year because we get into that. We just ain't got there yet. If I'm a lawyer, I went to school, got all these law degrees, learned all this information. Let's use a trust. And I know how to do a trust. I explain it to you and all that, but it's only so much explaining that lawyer that's teaching you about trust that they can do before it gets to the point where you need to probably come in their office to make sure legality wise, you can fill out all the correct information in all the correct spots. But I've seen this happen where somebody will be like, oh, why don't you just give us the information? Talking about a lawyer and just tell us what to do. And it's like, that person isn't gatekeeping. They gave all they could, but then it gets to a point you have to pay for their services. That's why I always tell you about scamming. But when it comes to what we do over here, it's not necessarily gatekeeping because there's no gate. Anybody can join the transportation business. Anybody can share their stuff with you. They can get to a certain point, but then it comes to, are that person gatekeeping? So use me, for example. Say I run around and I get network, meet all these amazing people. They get to know me. Somebody out there, a shipper, likes my personality, and they say, BG, I want to use you and only you for your transportation services. Let's make a contract so we can work together. Me and that person make a contract. And of course, everybody doesn't do an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. Everybody doesn't do that. But say me and this customer make this agreement, make this contract, and sign it up. If y'all see me out here still running loads, but I don't tell you who that person is and the agreement we made on contract with money wise and all that stuff, is that considered gatekeeping still? Because I don't tell you who is in the words of, I don't tell you who my plug is. No, it's not gatekeeping. So that's why I say it's a thin line between sharing information and then getting to a point where, okay, this isn't your information. This is my information. I say that because I don't want you all to think that, because let's be honest. Let's be honest. We're all trying to figure it out, and we want to help as many people as we can. But you got to get to a point where, well, not you, not us. We talk over here. But if you see somebody in there at a point where they can't tell you the rest of that information, they had to put that work in to go get that information. It's no different if we go farther. If I say I'm a doctor, I'm talking to a doctor, and somebody over there getting medical advice, and then it gets to the point the doctor's like, well, that's all I can give you. The rest of that, you got to come on in. We got to do this, that, surgery, whatever the case may be. Would you want that doctor just going randomly teaching somebody random stuff, and then they come in and do random stuff, and all of a sudden you getting stuff done to you for medical reasons by somebody that don't know what they do because they just happen to wake up at a Motel 6 because they left the light on and they felt good? No, we see it all the time. But we going to get to it because y'all is talking. Y'all is talking. I got to get back in here with it. Got to get back. I'm catching back up. What's going on? Apex is in the building. Yeah, fam. We all sad that happened to you hard. We don't like that. Okay, let's see here. My stance is bidding on jobs all week long with 100% rejection, and the dispatcher isn't saying anything. Hold on. Did I miss something? Let me make sure I didn't miss something. What are we referencing to, Levi? Come on. What are we talking about? Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss your comment. Because that does happen. I'm telling you, it's up and down weeks, but it's about getting the right dispatcher. Make sure you have more than one. Let's see. Number one, that's when we was talking about this. Everybody, J Harv, everybody feel you on that, fam. Okay. I like that. Now the real question is charging for information gatekeeping? I like the way you think. Let's break that down. It depends on two different factors. Because I'm yes and no with this information. This is me personally. This is all my opinion, fam. Y'all either rock with me, which I know y'all do, but this is my opinion. I don't believe it's wrong for charging for information. I do believe, because, a lot of information that you can look up online, but I do believe there's certain roadblocks you get to where you need a deeper dive in the information. I'll use myself, for example. I can answer questions all day long, but then it gets to a person that might be an individual that might say, hey, BG, I know you answering questions. I know you got us, but I really need to sit down and talk to you one-on-one. Hence why we made the one-on-ones. Because certain individuals in the fam, like, I need to literally sit and bounce stuff off of you, take notes and write stuff down. Now, then in that case, yes, because we might have to go deeper into that situation. But the price that people charge is, and again, I'm not counting nobody's pockets. I think that's where it gets hairy, because it's information you might can find out and do research on. But if you want to get there a little bit faster, remember we talked about this with the oven, crock pot, microwave, air fryer scenario in the last video. When you want to get there a little bit faster without the person necessarily doing the work for you, but to help you navigate certain hurdles that you don't have to go through because somebody already went through that, I do believe that a fee might be associated with it, but it depends on that person and their timing. Now, the problem that I don't like about it, because we're in an era where you hear this all the time. I know my worth. I know your worth. Charge your worth. Which we're going to talk about this, because I don't think people are doing a fair evaluation of their worth. We'll break that down in another video. That's a whole separate video, because I want to help people understand what their actual market rate worth is. It's like, for example, if I just graduated college and my degree is, I don't know, marketing, and I walk into a marketing agency, but the senior marketing agency person, singer, exec, whatever, say they're making $75 an hour. As I'm coming out of college, can I really demand $75 an hour if the starting is $20 an hour? I can't do that because of my expertise, my experience, the list goes on. So I do believe there are people, that's why I say don't get scammed, and everybody's not scamming, just for those that are. But when a person is charging their price, that's what they feel, the information that they went through and obtained. I'll use myself because I like using myself. So when I run around, I'm like, yeah, I'll be your test dummy. I'm driving around states, cross state lines, thousands of miles, paying for gas, food, all that stuff, obtaining information. And then if I come back and say, all right, and I figured all this out, I can save you the hours, the time, the money, whatever the case may be. It's going to cost, let's say, $50. And people will be like, I'm not paying $50, you gatekeeping. And it's like, well, I spent thousands of dollars to get this information. That's why I feel like it should be some type of fee. It's just what people charge. Over here, your boy feel like he been blessed. Me and my family are doing amazing. So we try to do back and give back whatever we can. But then, like when they talk about the one-on-ones, the price is what it is. I know it's $25. Some people be like, you should charge more for this. It wasn't necessarily for charging. It's more so to help people out with information. But I can't depict who that person is just by reading comments. I need to sit down and talk to you. So that goes back into the gatekeeping versus not gatekeeping, because that person can really take the time and do the research themselves. Or they might be like, BG, we saying you got experience in this. Let's figure it out. I'm going to come back to that because I don't want to get too far into these questions. In the comments. Man, let's see where we at. Boy, y'all is in here. I like that. That's a good way to put it. Gatekeeping versus privacy. I like that. You ain't late, Angela. I told you this before. You is not late. You always on time. Hey, what's going on, fam? Spring in the highs, fam. I told you we're gonna run into each other one day. I told you that earlier. All right, let's see what you got here, Apex. I cannot stand this gatekeeping shit. Like it's a bad thing. Does everyone realize each person we share knowledge with is basically a co-worker to an extent? Each person entering the cargo van lane has an effect on my business to varying degrees. Exactly. That's where I was going with this. So I'm gonna catch up with the comments, but that's where I was going. So it's like a competition, but not a competition. Because I'll use Houston. If these videos get out, we sharing information, we talk about certain things, and say all of Houston, the cargo van numbers go up. That means on that load board for the Houston area, people start using the same tactics. And that means people that weren't there before are now there and they're able to access it. Now, granted, I'm a firm believer what's for you is for you. But at the same time, it has to be a way for you to navigate these situations. I'll use this example. So if it was me and 4 other people, so 5 of us bidding on the load, we give out tips and tricks and all this stuff to find loads, get loads, and that number goes from 5 to 50. Now, along that route, then I most likely have priced myself out of certain loads. Now, here's the kicker with experience. When you start learning how to negotiate and look for certain things, because remember, you're only one person. Unless you got a fleet of vans, you're only one person. You can only drive one load a day. So if that number goes up, you have to figure out other tactics. Hence, when you hear me say, I'm going to go get it and bring it back. That's one of my tactics. Y'all can do it. Y'all don't have to do it. It doesn't matter. Because long as, for me, I can't speak for everybody else. This is all me. I believe what's for me is for me. I'll tell you that. And so when I go out there and get something for me, I can't be worried about the next person and counting their pockets. If that makes sense, that doesn't matter if we was talking about what people charge for information, me booking loads, any of that stuff. Because before I entered the space, people already were out there getting it. I do believe there's enough money on the table for everybody. The problem that comes up that I'm seeing, it depends on the information that the people are using. That they're getting the information from. That's why we talked about in a couple lives or something like that, like who are you getting your information from? Because some people might say, BG, you telling people that you got this for $1 something a mile. They might be like, you're killing the cargo van numbers. They might be right. They might be true. I don't know, because I can only speak for the going rate where I'm at. But then I do a video and they're like, BG, you got $4 a mile to go do that run. They do like, you winning. And it's like, I actually used the same thing I did over here. It's just the rates are different. But people wouldn't understand that because they haven't been to those different areas. That's the no gatekeeping. So it all depends on who you talk to and who you're asking this question to about gatekeeping. Hold on, let me catch back up. Okay. Me personally, I charge for my time out of my day to break down what I've already have to. Yep, you'll be surprised, but that happens a lot. I agree with that. BG, I shared something with you on IG, so just know that for the next 30 days, if it's more than 50 miles from my home, not Instagram, once again, God doesn't make mistakes. I agree with that. Jay Harv showing love. I appreciate that. Whoa. At least it's not 3,500, bro. You got to tell us what happened with the 3,500, fam. Let's see. My thing is, if you say you can make 3 to 4K a week, tell the whole story that goes with that. Maybe no sleep and maybe close to driving 5,000 miles and see if they're still. Now that I do agree with. Now that I do consider gatekeeping. If I give you some information, but I tell you part of it, and I used to tell my kids this all the time. If you have some information and you don't give it all to me, knowingly, I consider that lying at the same time. Like if you just tell me a part of it and not the rest of it, I still consider that a lie because I'm talking to my kids. So if an individual gives me half truths and don't tell the whole scenario, I'm going to think you're partially, once I find out, if I find out, you kind of lied to me. So that's another, that could be considered scamming, I guess you could say. But I also can look at that as gatekeeping too, because you like crack the gate open and said something out. And then when I come up to you, you open the gate and I'm like, hold on, you didn't tell me all this. So I can see that as part of gatekeeping as well. So I agree with you on that. To this point, I've not charged a single penny. I will charge going forward if I put time aside specifically. I agree. You should have. Hey, Peg, I'm just going to be honest with you. The knowledge that you got, you should have already been charging. Not, you know what I'm saying? I tell you all the time, within reason, because it's like anything. I don't understand how somebody can say, I want to go to school, or I want to go learn this trade, or I want to go learn how to do this skill set. You can't just walk into those people's business and be like, no, I'm not paying you nothing. I just want you to tell me. Teach me for free. So with that in mind, that's why it's a thin line between that. Remember, I told you, insanity and genius. It's a thin line between gatekeeping and scamming. It's so close because that's why I'm big on receipts and explaining stuff. Because if I go look at your information and you can't give me the receipts, or I can't visually see the receipts before I get to you, I'm going to start questioning things. Not saying that you're not telling the truth or nothing like that, but I need to know what it's business. You got to know. You have to have a good positive ROI. You got to give me a good return on my investment. I don't have a problem paying for things, but my return on investing has to mean something. So, example, we crack jokes about it when I'm like, hey, so-and-so got a load, they did this and that, or they working like that, they 10x their money. That's because that $25 you paid on the one-on-one, and you come to me and we talk about something and something eases it up for you, and you like, I didn't know about that. And then the same day, the next day, you like, I got a load paying $350. Technically, 25 times 10 is $250. You 10x your money. Now, it's going to grow bigger than that by the time, not for the pricing, I'm talking about for the money you're going to make. But that's what you got out of that situation. So if I can't have a positive ROI, if I pay you $2,500, for example, if I can't find a way to make a $2,500 back from what you taught me, then I feel like I got injustice. It was injustice done, but that's just my personal opinion. Where you at? Let me catch him back up. Okay. Oh, slow week for you. So I got to do more research. I had an idea about what's going on, but I'm not going to put that out there until I get there. I have a TWIC card and I will never drop off anything at the airport again for less than 200. You need a Snickers while there, if you know what I mean. I agree with you. 200, never. I'm not, y'all is over. Let's see. Not everyone has your best interest. It's not in them. Feel very fortunate when you find fam that wants you to win and not want to bleed you for cash or what you know. I agree with that. That's why I love y'all in these comments, because believe it or not, the information we give, and I try to put it up. If you're new fam and you just catching it, this is why I try to put the comments up, because fam be in here giving information that could cost money. When I see the other content makers that are not doing routes and they're asking for thousands of, I listen to get some free game and I'm out. The G fam I trust. I love y'all, fam. Look at y'all. Y'all dropping in here. I'm trying to catch up because y'all ain't finna have me out here. Y'all is hilarious. If you're really making 5K a week, then tell me what you call a week. 5 days or 7 days. I'm not gonna lie. Done the 5K week like twice, and it was, of course, the 7 days. That's the way I counted it. I can't speak for everybody else. This is BG. I counted the day that the money would hit. So, for example, I might have a pickup Friday, drop off Monday. I count the Saturday and Sunday, so that's 7 days. So it's gonna drop off Monday. I'm gonna get paid Monday, then Monday to Tuesday. So Friday drop off Monday, Monday to Tuesday, Tuesday to Wednesday, Wednesday to Thursday, Thursday to Friday. So when it gets back to that Friday, make the 5K, which has only happened like twice. That's what I call 5K in a week. And it took some running. Well, one of them took some running. The other one was just a blessing because the Friday drop off Monday was like $2,000 something. Well, technically they both was. I'll give y'all an example. One was the pick up Saturday and dropped off the 2 loads. One was in Orlando, and then the other one went to South Carolina. Yeah, to Clemson, South Carolina. That's when we had the 2 poles in the back, as Margaret say, pole voting to the money. And the other one was like when we ran up to California, I think San Jose area. I'm definitely hitting up your mouthpiece. Exactly. Man, I appreciate y'all. Man, BG is a real jam in this game, and that's why I'm always donate. But I hope he can put a 2X into the side when he starts selling merchandise. I got you. We actually already got him. My wife is gonna beat me up because she wants that link out there. I'm probably have to go and drop it in the next week or so. Let's see. I'm trying to catch back up. Y'all got me in here rolling. 2 weeks before and after the 4th of July is normally very slow. I did not know that. Thanks. So remember I told y'all we know the slow times of year. We know the second and third quarter picks up for us guys. But I did not know that. So that's a good rule of thumb. Keep that in mind. 2 weeks before and after 4th of July is very, I'm glad. Appreciate you. We see you in the building. What's up, fam? Everybody's talking about Apex. Good to know. Let's see what's going on. People definitely out there scramming. I stay away from IG influencers. No way I'm about to pay someone $3K for game. I can find myself. People charging for a mentorship just charge you again 13% to dispatch. I did not know that they'll charge you. So, fam, they out there charging for the mentorship and then charging you 13% to dispatch. And here I go, man. I'm working my numbers all backwards. So, because I guess I want people to win. I don't know. Because believe me, fam, I hear y'all when y'all talk about the dispatching thing, and I'm working on it over here in notes and all that. But man, it wasn't gonna be no 13% fee. I'm not gonna tell y'all the number yet. It's way below 10. Nah, 13. Then again, I'm cool on it. We'll work it out. I'll let y'all know when that comes. I made 2K a week starting in Arizona and was ecstatic, but one reason was no deadheading, and that was rare for me. But I love that. I promise you. I've told y'all this before. Like that's why we talk about. That's why we have open geometry classes around here. That's why we talk about triangles, circles, squares, rectangles, everything. Because as I run around, you learn different areas where you can literally stay in your area. And if you do have to deadhead, it won't be far. Like, for example, I told y'all this before. Certain areas, like in the circle, when I get up to like the St. Louis, the Chicago, the Kansas City, mainly Louisville, stuff like that, you can deadhead less than 100 miles and go get that bag. But at the same time, in Texas, if I leave my house and deadhead 100 miles, I'm not even going to make it halfway to Dallas. I have to go. I can only stay in Houston because, believe it or not, I looked it up. Houston is roughly 50, depending on what part of Houston you're in, it's roughly 50 to 70 miles apart from each other. That's why it's an hour to get anywhere in Houston, because that 50 to 70 miles is eat you up. So you'll be in Houston. But if you don't find that in Houston and you got to go somewhere else to get somewhere else, like Bowman is still roughly like 80 some miles. Yeah, from Houston to Galveston is 50. So yeah, it all depends on your location. That's what we talk about the numbers at. But you can easily turn that into 1,500 to 2,000 a week, depending on how you run it. And if the lows, as we just learned, 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after 4th of July, depending on the timing, but you can still figure it out. That's why we incorporate gig apps for those that are just starting out and you just getting going until you find your stride. Now, with that being said, let's talk about this. We just threw up a bunch of comments from the fam in there. Is that's not considered gatekeeping because they're sharing? We share over here, but at the same time, as Apex, for example, just said, he's giving out knowledge from stuff that he's learned. But as you get to go deeper, and it's like, hold on, I'll use Apex for example right quick. If I just say, man, Apex gave out the 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after, I did not know that. And I say, Apex, tell me something else. 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 It's gonna get to a point where Apex gonna be like, all right, now you gotta pay for something. Because I'm taking, as the transporter said, I'm taking my time away from my business, away from my family, and I'm sitting down, whether it's 30 minutes, an hour, weekly sessions. I'm taking time away to give knowledge that costs me, because regardless of how you look at it, anything you learn in life is going to cost you. And you think I'm playing? Say you got burnt by fire at the age of 4. Touched it and it burned you. That cost you some skin cells, some pain, some all kinds of stuff. Mom and them had to go pay for ointments, run you to the clinic, get it wrapped up, and it cost you. So it gets to a point where as you're asking all this information, it's gonna start costing you to get it. So that's why I say the gatekeeping, because let's be honest, I see it mostly because, you know, the hot thing right now is TikTok. And as people continue to make TikToks, I see people asking question after question and diving deeper. And then I see them make comments and videos off of somebody else's video and be like, they not telling the whole truth. And it's like, we've told you over here. That's why I directed. We do everything on YouTube. If you sit there and try to answer, because nobody thinks outside of them, is we're in an era, and it's a lot, it's not no one person. We get in the habit of actually, and it's all sometimes, not all the time, get in the habit of not looking at the big picture. That's why I always tell you, don't look at one load, let's look at the year. But anyway, if I ask a question and say I'm on TikTok, people don't take into correct consideration that that person that they're asking, 50 other people have asked them under that same video. They're not taking into consideration the 35 other people that have DM'd them. They're not taking into consideration the 50 some people that found the link with their information and they emailing and asking conversations behind the scene. So that one video has turned into 100+ questions for that person to sit down and answer all those questions. And that's just one video. What if they throw up another video and another video? And it's just, and more people find that video. And then we have it over here, a video that'll be about V-Hole from last year. Somebody be like, hey, I got a question. Cool. You know your boy. I'm going to sit down and answer them and get to them as we get to them. But then it gets to a point, because I've seen certain people that ask a question after question. I have no problem with question after question, but then I have to tell them that, hey, you're asking questions and I have no problem answering it, but there's so much information you're missing. You might need help, which is understandable. But that goes into the, are you gatekeeping or not? Because it gets to a point where you got to actually talk to people. I got you, fam. I got you, fam. I'm going to hit you up, Apex. I got you. Let's see. You're lucky I'm in Tallahassee, Florida. I have a deadhead at least 200 to 300 miles just to get started. It's just a tank. I try to tell people this. That people think I'm playing. We've been down to Florida, fam. I think the transporter like Florida. That you keep going down there. I think you like it. I don't know why you keep going down there, because every time you go down there, you be, besides that greater, I know where you're going down there. I'm not even feeling like this is to the transporter. I know why you're going down there. I seen that food you be getting. I think I might be right down there again soon. Cause you went to that Cuban spot and it was wee. I might be going down there too because that Cuban sandwich looked fire. But yeah, it depends on where you're at. Like let us transport just said he got a deadhead. So when I say nothing jumping in Houston, I might have to go get it. I know that makes people think I wouldn't be able to do that, but you might be blessed and lucky enough that you stay in an area that is always jumping because you got to think about volume. I use it like this: Houston, fourth largest city. You know how many cargo vans and box trucks and 18 wheelers are around this thing versus if I say St. Louis, who has a population of, I think, like 230, 250,000, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. 250,000 sounds a lot different than 4, 5, 6 million. We ain't even going to get into California and New York. And so when you think about the volume of people that might be in St. Louis, how many of them actually have cargo vans, box trucks, and 18 wheelers? There are some up there, but the volume of work that comes out is stuff supplements where people can still get work. So that's why I say, but at the same time, keeping in mind, might be a bigger city, more work comes out. And it's crazy. That's why we said it. Dallas is actually has more work come out than actually Houston, and Houston is bigger than Dallas by a couple million, but still. So sometimes you have to go get it. But is that gatekeeping if I don't tell you that and I figured it out? In that little sense, then yes, to me that is, because I'm Texas. We gonna rock with each other, but I love the family. We gonna talk about that as well. Y'all let me catch back up. Boy, I be taking smaller breaks about this. BG, I will buy anything you said because I know you're genuine. Other people are preying on people that are struggling to make it and getting them into the industry and not being 100% on it. I've seen it. And believe it or not, that's why I told y'all some time back about the people at your support system. My amazing wife is, because I'm always the person I like to help people. That's why the speaking and all that, my military career, all that, I was always that person. She was the one, and we talk about stuff, but she was like, you need to, I'm gonna put this camera in your face. You need to start talking. If you remember them early videos when I was driving for VHO and you like, what is going on? The camera video wasn't like this. The video was like this. Hey, y'all, yeah, we going on this VHO route. We got about 32 stops, and it's going to take us about this many out. Y'all remember them videos? That's because that amazing woman was holding the camera because she said that we need to talk and get this information out there. And then we already knew which way we was growing it, but now it's like, hey, let's take everybody on the journey and teach as we go. So, yes, I understand you all the way, fam, about it's grimy out there, and it's some people you can't not saying because I don't know anybody specific. I haven't worked with anybody else. It's just us talking and y'all throw information and knowledge at me. I incorporate it. And if I find something out that goes with it, of course, I'm always shout y'all out because y'all shout out the information. I'm going to shout out who gave the information and we going to rock with it. But that's all of us working together. I knew you was going to say that Miami is great. I'm going to leave you alone on that. You know it. See, I told man, we be watching you with them food trucks. BG, do you have any DAT onboarding tips? Nah. Basically, unless it's something I missed, basically it was just signing up. Like you picked your package and they sign you up, and that was the end of it. Did y'all have so y'all let fam know if it was something else y'all ran into? Because I didn't run into that. Let's see. Why are you so young? I wish you would have been in San Antonio in 92. First year in Air Force and telling me not to be a knuckle. Your boys and wives are blessed to have you, BG, and you are. Hey, man, I appreciate that. Like it took. Remember, I just told you about the gatekeeping. I told y'all before about that military career and them first like 10 years. It was people that had information that we're not sharing. You saw them moving along, and I was like, this sucks. How are they getting these opportunities? Or how are they figuring it out? How are they doing this? And why isn't nobody saying this? Until I met those certain mentors. And that's why I see things as positive, not a negative. So that leadership track that I didn't have in the beginning, that's why I say there's no bad lessons. You learn from everything. I took what I didn't like when I was in those situations, no mentor, didn't understand, just spinning my wheels trying to figure it out. And that made me become the leader I wanted to be. I took those lessons I learned from those leaders. I didn't look at them as negative. I said, hey, I need to incorporate that in my leadership style so I can help my troops. And then it just started growing from there to where everything that I see I see and I'm root cause analysis. I find out where it breaks down at so that I can know how to understand it and fix it and help others. Because I understand that there are people that don't have that. I believe in gifts. I believe your gifts are aligned with your purpose. There are people that don't have that gift. And if I can share my gift to help others, it's no different than somebody like that's a barber or a chef. If all of us were great barbers, chefs, builders of houses, or whatever you come up with, IT, people that can figure out the apps and stuff and all the different engineering algorithm and math. Have y'all seen some of that math for engineering? My math is good, but it ain't that good. If we didn't have their gift of music and hearing stuff out of here, and they sharing it with the world, it would be a lot of stuff we didn't know. And I'm not saying as though like my gift is better than your gift. It's just what I can share. And then y'all have y'all gifts and y'all share. And now we over here sharing together. That's how you get away from gatekeeping. But at the same time, there gets to a point where you might have to pay for some of that gatekeeping. Think about all the amazing musicians we got. They can share their talents with the world, but as they got to go around and travel, you eventually gonna have to start paying some of them for their amazing gifts. And it's no longer gatekeeping, they're sharing, but you got to pay for it. It's no different than a chef. A chef can't just cook all this amazing food and ingredients without you eventually having to pay them. And then you just can't pay a chef for the ingredients and all that. You have to do what? You're paying them extra for their time to cook it, the preparation, the hoping that it's sanitary and not get you sick, give you the right ingredients, make it tasteful. That's their time, knowledge, and energy that they expected, that they learned over time. Now, how much they charge? That's all up to you. Because let's be honest, a steak at Waffle House don't taste ain't the same price as a steak at Saltgrass. It just is what it is. You're getting two levels of steaks there. So that's why I say it's gonna cost. It just all depends on what you're charging. And if it gets to that point where you're getting away from gatekeeping, and because I don't believe that nobody should gatekeep, but if you're getting to that part where it's certain things like, hey, I got this information, now you need to pay a little bit extra. It's no different than when I tell people, because fam is they stay, I love y'all, but give me some time. They stay hitting me up about this course and saying, hey, we want the course so we can all have it consolidated, because I understand learning styles. Some people learn differently, and trying to write down notes and regurgitate all the information from the videos. And it's like, all right, I'm going to consolidate it all and put it in this package. Of course, I ain't going to hit y'all over the head for the people that actually want it, but there's going to be some type of fee associated with it, not because of the information, because the information is all on YouTube for free. But the time and resources of sitting here, recording, packaging it up, making it look all nice and pretty, and say, here, this is a one-stop shop for everything. And I'm not talking about just how to get started. We're going to talk about all the stuff in this video that we do in all the videos, the lives all combined, so you can have all the information. So that's what I mean by I understand the price, but how much that price, it depends on that person. And it depends on what you're willing to pay to get that information for that person. Now, I'll use an example because, sports. I'm a sports guy. It's a difference between, let's use the YMCA. It's a difference because I'm a basketball person. I got a son. It's a difference between paying my son to go to the YMCA for a basketball league or get one-on-one training from a worker that works at the YMCA that say never went to college, never played professional, know a little bit about basketball. My son is younger. They're teaching younger people the basics: dribble left, dribble right, pass, chest pass, bounce pass, the basics. That price is obviously going to be lower in case, and this is outlandish, versus me saying, hey, LeBron James, how much is it going to cost an hour a week to teach my son how to play basketball like you? Obviously, he's going to be like, you got to pay a little something. It's going to be more than YMCA. So, yeah, it's just a trickery thing because it's like I said, insanity and genius. It's a thin line between paying for some information that's a little bit more extensive than what I can find online, my research and myself, versus me paying you for some information because you just went and packaged, you Google some stuff and you just picked the information and packaged it all together. And now you like, all right, now pay me. And it's like, hold on, that's not your experience or expertise. You just took, you get what I'm saying. Let's see. I'm trying to, boy, y'all was over here talking fast, fam. Let me catch back up. Whoa. Y'all gonna be exposing some stuff, J Hall? What y'all over it? What's going on? Kep, let me go back up. What you saw? Yep, Kep say the same thing. Y'all go, hey, let me know. Tell the fam. We ain't bashing nobody, but if you know somebody for sure, people for sure, not now, but as we get going, later on in the future, if y'all don't feel a certain type of way and y'all don't want to expose it, y'all can tell me, your boy pass the message on to the rest of the fam, however you want to do it. But yes, I do believe that. And no, let's do it this way, because I want to investigate a little bit too, because this is why I say this. That's why I say it's a thin line. Say I'm in Texas and I'm giving out information, and say I make a course or I make a package deal. I tell you I can help you. And I'm using this because I'm bouncing this off of your comment, Jay Harv, about Arizona. Say I package this information and I say, hey, I can teach you how to make 2,500 a week. Just come over here and take this course. I'm gonna give you some contacts. I'm gonna do this and that, and I'm gonna teach you how to make 2,500 a week. Obviously, it most likely would be in Texas, but say you're in California, or in your case, Jay Harv, Arizona. That's why I say we're gonna. And you take that information and you run with it, and you like, I'm not making to, and this is not a shot at you, Jay Harv. I'm just using you for example because we know we're all a family. Or say you up in New York, we'll use anybody, or say you in Oregon. And you like, man, I took BG information. I tried to get it. Man, I ain't made 2,500 a week yet. That's because my information pertained to only Texas. And that was one of the things I noticed when I was listening to people tell their information. But mine didn't start with the DAT low board. It actually started with gig apps, because I wanted to learn, be efficient and find ways to be a better door dasher, be a better VHO dasher. I wanted to be better at Amazon Flex. So I would watch videos and learn stuff. But then it started dawning on me. The first one was a young lady, I can't remember her name, in California. She was showing how she was making $300 to $350 a day. I'm like, how is she doing this? But she wouldn't tell nobody. She would just put her numbers up and say, this is what I'm doing, and you get to ride along with it. And I'm like, how is she doing this? And I'm like, let me go look into it myself. Then it made sense, because cost of living in in Los Angeles is a lot higher than Texas. So their 350 is about 175 to 200 for me in Texas. So then I had to start rearranging the numbers. And I started watching other people. No different than if I in the region. That's why I tell y'all the area I'm in and what I see, because VHO down here in Houston doesn't pay the same as VHO in New York. Their routes aren't even the same. Like in Houston, VHO, you start first thing in the morning. You're gonna be done midday, mid-evening, I should say, 4-5 o'clock. You should be done unless something happened and you got to take packages back and all that. But up north, like New York, New Jersey, some of their routes don't even start till 4-5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they don't finish till 9-10 o'clock. See the difference? So if I give you information, I charge you, and I bundle it all up, but it doesn't apply to your area, does that mean I scammed you? Or does that mean you took information from somebody? That's why we talked about who are you getting information from. You took your information from somebody that doesn't apply to your area. Thus, why when I was running around telling you, I'll be your test dummy, I needed to know the area, because I didn't want to come off as that person and not know what I was talking about. So I would go all these random places. That's why you hear me say I couldn't tell you nothing about Oregon and Washington and Seattle and Idaho. I can't tell y'all nothing about that. I can't tell you nothing about New York. Can't tell you nothing about New Jersey, Maine, Connecticut. I can't tell y'all nothing about that. For one, I ain't been up there, and I ain't got a reason to go up there. But that comes the thin line between gatekeeping, which I don't think it's a gate, and then in the other instance, the scamming. Did the person necessarily scam you, or did you use information that didn't apply to your area? See what I'm saying? It's a thin line, and I'm not saying that nobody's wrong to feel how they feel about being scammed. It's just, did you get the information? Like we said before, where are you getting your information? Did you get your information from the wrong source? That could be a possibility. See what I'm saying? Like, that's why I said, that's why I don't call nobody out. That's why I ain't throwing nobody on the bus, no slugs, no none of that. But you got to keep that in mind, because it's business. And that's how business works. It's no different. We talk about the low board. I can tell you all day, the going rate around my area is like $1 something a mile. But I've been places the going rate was like $1.25, $1.50 a mile. But then at the same time, I can tell you that going rate down in Florida is like 60 cents to 70 cents a mile. You see what I'm saying? So if I give you information based on my area and you live in another area and you like, BG lied to me. But the only way I would know not to make it a lie is I got to go over there and test it out myself, test dummy, and help y'all out. But that's parts of the not gatekeeping part. Let me catch back up. Who retiring after the year? Ah, man, I can't with y'all. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we do over here. Learn from everybody and share. Uh, they have made a bag and their run is pretty much up because they can't keep trickling everybody. From Fendal, every load is a venture, every load is a learning experience. You definitely need to be patient and understand everything is not horseshoes and butter. We tell me about it. I just think people are taking advantage of the new Instapot world. That's what we talked about. They're willing to pay for the easy lane to get to the pool. I do believe that is true. That's what we was talking about with the Instapot air fryer world. I agree with you on that. And it sucks because we're putting our, the best way I can say this. Then when I was working with an amazing speaker, Dr. West, we were traveling in Africa, taught me a lot. And one of his biggest saying was, some entertainment is for programming and some programming is for entertainment. Let that sink in. Some entertainment is for programming, some programming is for entertainment. Basically meaning some of the stuff you see, whether it be social media, TV, blogs, wherever you get this information from, some of it is just to make you go, ha, 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 this is funny, that's great. And some of the stuff that's put out there is to program you to think you have to do certain things. And this is piggybacking off of the transporters Instapot coming. So we're put out there in this thought process. You need to make this much money. You need to drive this type of car. You need to have this type of house. You need to do this, this, and this. And then it starts to impact the kids because these kids are in high school thinking I got to have $1 million by 22. And it's like, that's not how life goes, fam. But it's outliers, but that's not how it goes. And then if you don't give that information to them fast enough, you gatekeeping. You just don't want to put me on. And it's like, no, you're putting you on. It just don't happen as fast as you think. And as you continue to go on through that cycle, then you start feeling like I'm behind. Then you start stressing. Then you start being desperate, which makes you give people money to try to get information. And that's how you get scammed. Because the person in the world, it ain't just me. I've run across a bunch of people. A lot of y'all in these comments. I watch y'all videos. I watch y'all social media platforms. You're giving the information just like me, but we don't give it fast enough for the Instapot world we're in. And then what happens, and this is the part that makes me sad because I know it's going to happen over here. I don't know when, but y'all will be my vouch for me. I'm saying it right now. It's going to happen over here. We're going to get to year 1 in. We're going to get to year 2, and we're going to have all this information we shared, and we're going to all be winning. And then new people going to flood us and be like, y'all gatekeeping, because they won't go back and watch the first video, because they won't pay the $25 for the one-on-one, which from what I'm being told is a good price. They won't pay whatever the low price we come up with for the course. They won't do that. They won't reach out to y'all and get the information. They won't take the time to watch the live. It's like, as Fendog just says, it's learning and all that experience, and it takes time. We're talking about some of us out here driving 40, 50, 60 hours throughout the week, sometimes 70 for some people. I be seeing them big rigs, 70 for some people. And you do that. Let's just stick right there. If I say 50 hours in a week, after 10 weeks, I not gave you 500 hours. 500. 2 weeks, I not gave you 1,000. And you keep going on. And they say in order to become an expert or something, it's what, 10,000 hours or 20,000 hours? I forgot the saying. You know how many weeks, months, and years that is? And then when that time comes, when we hit that plateau and we all winning after years of us talking, sharing information, making videos, these new people gonna flood us in and be like, we gatekeeping. Because it won't be just me. They're gonna be talking about y'all too. We gatekeeping, and it's like, fam, all you gotta do, we having problems. Like, I see the fan that go back and watch the videos from day one, but it's a lot of people that just don't want to take the time, and then they're gonna be like, hey, why are you keeping the information? So that's why I say it's a thin line, and it's a whole bunch to it. Let's see, which I'm catching back up. BG, the VA in Leavenworth, Kansas has $34 million for contract for 5 years of removing linen. Hate that I don't know how to bid or write proposals yet. The contract is under general freight. What we all do. I've seen that exact same thing that you're talking about. I saw it. Trust me, I saw it. So it's a lot that goes into that. We haven't even got to that. We haven't even scratched the surface. That's been, I'm just going to give you little snippets. That's part of getting your stuff registered with SAM.gov. That's you using that NAT code for cargo van. I don't have it wrote down, but I got it somewhere. You got to have a NAT code for cargo vans. I actually do know how to write contracts. We just haven't got there yet because, again, we've talked about it before. If I show you how to do sam.gov, show you how to do the NAT codes, show you how to do the contracts, once we get to that point, or before we get to that point, if I show you all that, would you really be ready for it? And I say that not because I don't think somebody can drive and have all that kind of stuff, but it's a lot involved with that government contract stuff. You can make one mistake, come up short one way, you nixed out the system, and now you ruined your chances of future government contracts because you weren't efficiently prepared. That's one. And for two, let's be honest, a lot of us are starting out. Most of us don't have fleets. And when you take on a government contract, one of the things you want to do is make sure you have some type of fleet, because if a vehicle go down, that government contract don't care. If you go down, they're going to be like, where the next vehicle at? Where the next two vehicles at? And part of that contract is you got to be, that contract that you just mentioned, J. Hard, part of that contract is you got to be on standby. You got to be ready to, they call you, you can't go nowhere else. Certain time frames throughout the weeks and all that, you got to be on standby and be ready to zip in and out. And then what if you sick? Do your backup? Is your backup going to be qualified and have clearance to get into the same facilities to do the same thing back? See what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch to it. We haven't even got there yet. We're going to get there, but that's next year, because next year is when we start the expansion thing. We'll talk about that later. But I just want you to know, I've seen it, but even myself, with the knowledge I have, even with the government background and understand how to do all this stuff, I'm not even in position to run out there and just start snatching government contracts. And I'm not saying that I know there's people out there that's more advanced and more ahead in this process than me. I'm just talking about me. So I can give you the information on how to do it, but I can't give you the information on what it looks like to do it, because I've only been on one side of the government contract. That was the side that was looking at the paperwork, writing it, signing it off, pushing it through different commanders and different groups and squadrons throughout the wing to make sure the different people that I know how to do all that part, but I haven't been on the side of actually working the government contract, whether it be government contract for lawn care. Those are multi-million dollars. Government contract for water treatment. Those are, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch out there, but I haven't got there yet because I haven't done it. And I can't willingly and consciously give you information on something I haven't even done yet and experienced myself from that side of doing the work but I've seen that contract, J. Harv. I've seen it out there. Lots of government contracts out there. You have to be in business 1 year and have to make 100K revenue. Yep, that's part of it as well. I'm telling you, it's a lot involved. They vet it. You think about it. They're not just going to give you no millions for 5 years without some type of proof. Y'all are crazy. Talk about quick, fam. I have a venture certificate. I got the same one, fam. Don't tell nobody yet. I agree with you right there, J. Harv. God don't make no mistakes. He don't make none. No. I'm not protecting scammers, fam. I promise you. I'm not. I just look at it from the business aspect of it, because if that's the case, I'll give you an example. This is why I say I'm not protecting scammers. As somebody that's been stationed in Korea, me and my family lived in Korea, been to Asia, been all these places. We've purchased stuff over there. I remember one time we was in Thailand. We went to Thailand and we had to buy an extra suitcase. Between my entire family of 5, we bought about, I want to say it was either 12 or 15, because we counted 12 or 15 pair of shoes amongst all of us. And we had to buy a new bag. So when we got on the airplane, we could put all 12, 15 pair of them shoes in there for all of us. And we spent roughly about $250. I'm talking about Converse, Vans. I'm talking about, I stacked my Vans game up at that time. Converse, Vans, Nike, you name it. $250. Now, if we're saying the same thing about scammers, most of those shoes, if you buy one pair in America, you're going to pay way more than $250. But are you still buying Nikes, Converse, Vans, Prada, Gucci, Louis? We're paying for stuff that doesn't cost what it is the manufacturing. They're technically, by our standards in this conversation, they're scammers. But we still utilize their resources. That's why I say I'm looking at it from a business perspective. Let's be honest. There are people out there that have no conscience. They don't care who they get over. They just want their money. I get it. I'm not one of those people, but I get it. But from a business standpoint, that's That's everybody. It's a lot of businesses that if you broke it down, they're basically scammers. So I'm not protecting them. I just look at it from I open the lens up and look at the big picture. And are there greedy people out there? Yes. Are they scamming? For the most part, yes. But it's all about when we talk about the rates and markets and all that at the same time. When we talk about what's your worth, we drive those rates to make it be that. For example, I'm going to use myself. When they say that $25 for the one-on-one, if I was that person, I'd be sitting here and everybody like, BG, you giving out all that information, and the one-on-one is way more than $25. And then the first time I say it's $50, it's $100, it's $150. Somebody new is going to come in that don't know me, ain't been rocking with us, and be like, BG scam me charging $150. See what I'm saying? It's all about business. That's the whole thing about supply and demand. That's when we talked about the rates, like pandemic rates. And that in that instance, the business owners can be like, man, these drivers are scamming us, because supply and demand. People was out there in cargo vans getting $3 and $4 a mile during that time period. You see what I'm saying? So it goes multiple ways. You all right, fam? Not one size fits. Yep, it doesn't. But hey, yeah, I thought you think I didn't see you slide in, Nelson. I knew you was gonna be here, fam. I told Nelson last week I was gonna put an APB out on him. I told you I'm putting APBs out on everybody. If they don't show after a couple of misses, I'm gonna say something to y'all. I'm gonna let you know right now. The heat in Texas is actually amazing, because normally it's hotter than this. The rain threw us for a loop. It was raining a lot, but it's that rain season. But the heat is actually not bad. We still got August to go, so knock on wood. I ain't gonna jinx us. Y'all, J Hard, come get some of this Arizona 115. Nah, fam, you can have it. I've been out there, even when I got close the last time in El Paso. No, me and Chip don't like that heat. I thought we were storm runners. We run from rain, but apparently we some heat runners too, because we stay away from that heat. We don't like that. I don't know, fam. You say it kicks you out. You might have to call and verify with them, because we don't have it. I don't know. Call and check with them to see if it's something happened, or if it's an app update or something like that. I know they just recently did some maintenance, so about 2 or 3 days ago. So check on that too. That might be an issue. If I ever go back, OTR, I have to make it to Chicago to see it for myself. You know how to write contracts, and I have a 2 certification. Boy, you better stop playing. We need to get together soon. So remember what I told you about that one particular contract. You basically got to move there. Now, don't get me wrong. Me and my wife crack jokes about this, because we talk about this. My wife is actually the one that found that particular contract, and we looked at it together. But don't get me wrong. Me and my wife on the same page. Let them be like, yes, BG, we got a 5-year contract that we would like to use your family's transportation company for, and it pays $3 million a year for a total of $15 million over the course of 5 years. You're gonna think I was Steve Harvey when he was talking about Titanic. Wrap it up. We moving. Take the pictures now. Matter of fact, I'll probably just get in the van and leave and hire somebody to come pack up the whole house. We'll sell it as from long distance, but we're gonna be in that thing like Steve Harvey in the time, pulling out plugs and everything. We out. We moving to Kansas, Leavenworth. So yeah, fam, don't get me twisted. I'll be about this thing. That is another thing, Wendy. If you log in multiple devices, it will kick you out. You can have, unless you pay for the package that has extra logins, I know you can have the computer open and the phone open, but if you try and log into multiple phones, it will kick you out. Unless you pay for the, because the $49 packages only allows you to have one. Let's see, you basically need to contract others to do the job, contracting others to hire and accept. I agree with that. And when you get to them government contracts, you got to, I'm talking about you better vet, because I remember what part of the military, I've seen people get to gates and all that, and you'll find out about stuff that was from years ago that you didn't even know was an issue, or the driver didn't know it was an issue. They think they got it off their record, but the government doesn't go off of it's like how police be like, oh, in this county or this state, I still see you with a warrant. It might have been cleared up, but the computer system haven't been updated. So that plays a factor too. You got to make sure your person can be vetted to get out there and do the work on government contracts. It don't necessarily have to be a base, but government contracts, period. They giving the information. Make sure you only have one DAT browser window open. If that doesn't work, clear your cookies. Oh, and if it's giving you the script error message, tell it to stop when you ask. Hey, done. You lucky you put that in there. I still need them Netflix movies and TV shows. Don't sleep on me. I need to know them. Angela, I lived in South Korea from 2014 to 2020. Hey, how did you like it? We loved it over there. It was nice. It was snow, but it was nice. Wendy, I'm putting this up so all the fam can see it. They got a tech division that helps with the load board. Oh, son, let me have some of that yaki mandu. hey, stop telling our secrets. Korea was when I really started eating our food course. Yaki mandu, right by the front gate. and then that hamburger, the cheeseburger with the egg on it. Hey, Camp Humphreys is no longer a regular camp. That thing is huge. Civilians don't know what they talking about. Don't worry, we're gonna catch y'all up, fam. I think I got pictures. One day me and the wife might throw some pictures up so y'all can see. Let's see. Levi, if y'all want to know what carriers you working with, let the fam know. They might know something we don't know. I ain't used one yet, but let them know. You can't be mad at whoever doing whatever. Y'all is killing me in these comments. Oh man. What's going on, fam? Boy, we got VA in this house today. What's going on, Marlon? What's going on, fam? Oh man, see, I told you. I told y'all we be over here in the chat, be helping out, fam. I told you if you ain't in the live, what's that thing? If you ain't in the live, where you at? At home, sitting on your couch, not learning this game, so you can call us scammers and gatekeepers. Cause you won't come over here and rock with us. Cause we get it in over here, fam. You just gotta come. Just gotta come. Let's see. So this is a funny one because Humphreys, we had a Texas Roadhouse when we left. They got way more than the Texas Roadhouse now. The base is a whole city. Because I think at one point, I think they was trying to combine all of them. The base got like base house and it's like 5 or 6 gyms on the base. It's all types of chilies and man, they got everything on that thing. So you had to get rid of that one from Charlotte, North Carolina. All they were partial loads for OTR. So yes, but I'm finna help you out. You're in one of those areas. I don't know if you went back and watched the video, fam, about the Meet Me in the Circle. That's the title of the video. Meet Me in the Circle. You have to get inside that circle. So I know that's what we talked about the deadhead. I know it might sound like something you don't want to do, but if you want to get to moving, you got to open that window up from like 150, 200 miles. I think from North Carolina, from Charlotte to Atlanta is what? About 300 miles, something like that. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, you got to get in those areas. And that means you have to get out of the area you're in and then get to running. And then when it's time to go home, it's time to go home. Like if you start riding around, and fam, y'all can vouch for me in the comments, you'll see like 18-wheelers as you're riding around the United States, 18-wheelers that be on back roads, got land in the house in the middle of nowhere. The closest city might be 150, 200 miles. And for an 18-wheeler, that's a lot of deadhead miles. But they live there. They go hit the road. They'll be gone for weeks, months, and then make the money and come home and relax. So it all depends on how you look at it. So, but some of us, we live in areas like we've talked to Jay Harv out in Arizona. He can find work. But if he wants to do the OTR life, he got to get up out of there because Phoenix and all that in Arizona ain't going to produce the amount of work that it does in a circle. They have work. It's just not the same as the circle. So it all depends on how you want to look at it. But yeah, fam. I see I'm not caught up on all the comments. And so, we are 9 hours and 9 minutes. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know what Like Apex said, we passed the 2 weeks after 4th of July. So Friday it started picking up. So hopefully, see, Nelson, 245 miles to Atlanta. You got to get up out of there, fam. That's the only way it's going to work. You got to get up out of there. And you got to do that. Deadhead was 245 miles. Shouldn't be more than half a tank of gas. So, yeah. But, yeah, fam, we're going to see what this week's holds. I already know it's going to be a great week. It's going to be a blessed week either way it goes, because we're going to rock out and get our money and all that, get our bags, and be safe at the same time. But, yeah, it's time to go, for me, eat. Because my wife is down there cooking and I can smell that ribeye steak and it's been messing with your boy nose hairs for the past 20, 30 minutes. But yeah, fam, it's time to get up out of here, man. Hey, it was great talking to y'all tonight. I like all that information because there ain't no gatekeeping over here. Because it ain't no gate. But yeah, fam, how you going to pop in here talking about, this is funny. I'm late, but I'm here. She can hear everything I'm saying. She was right there. I love that woman. But yeah. It's time for me to go down here and eat this great steak so I can be nourished and fulfilled so I can get out here and get this work this week. I don't know where we're going. I ain't got no load. I know y'all probably got your Friday drop off Monday. No, some of y'all already got your Monday schedule. Your boy got to get out here and get a bag. So, yeah, I'm finna eat. Finna go ahead and get some rest and see what this week holds. But, hey, that's it for me. I can't wait to see you. I don't know if it's going to be the next video or the next live. Who knows? But hey, don't worry. Y'all ain't even got to put it in the comment. I just true talking about she hit them pots. But don't worry, we ain't got to talk about it because you know how we do. I guess this is the new thing, and it's going to be the new thing that y'all helped implement it. So we going to keep it implemented because you know your boy like this, especially when it's talking to guys. So before we get up out of here, as always, because we implemented this, I talked about this in the last video, one of them videos, and it was like, why you implemented that? Why your videos look like that? Because, fam, we talk about how we want to do stuff. So before we get up out of here, we gotta have, it might be Sunday night live, but it's also Sunday night prayer. So go ahead and get this prayer. So you know what to do. Close your eyes and bow your head. God, as your humble servants, we once again come to say thank you. You brought us through an amazing week. For some of it was slow, some was great. But either way, every day that you allowed us to wake up to see another one and be blessed to get another chance to do something to be better for ourselves, be better for our families, and take us to the next level, we thank you for that. As we get ready to go through this next week and start this next week, we ask that everybody stays safe, especially on these dangerous highways and byways. Watch over our families and keep them safe in our absence as we go out there, not only to do your work, but also provide a better life for us and our family. We ask that you watch over us and keep us safe on the dangerous highways and watch the drivers behind us, around us. Make sure we have no breakdowns, no issues with the police. Watch over our health, mentally, physically, and spiritually, and keep us safe through the week until we meet again. I ask these and your many blessings in your darling son, Jesus' name. Amen. And just like that, fam, it's time to go. But don't worry. I'll see you soon, whether it's the next video or the next live. But either way it goes, until that time comes, you know what I want you to do. Y'all stay blessed.